Hello and welcome everybody to Alice Baker Brushstrokes Part 6. Maybe perhaps today is the day when either the heroines both die, or one of them gets married and the other one dies, or one of them gets married and the other one becomes her lady in waiting, or when they manage to get rid of the king in yellow, who knows. But at the moment you are in the warehouse. Dottie and you have brought turpentine in large quantities. You're standing in front of the two paintings on the wall, one of which depicts the now deceased Albus Craig and Penelope Smithers, who has returned. You have managed to bring her back. And the other one depicts the king in yellow himself and Casilda, who at the moment is still in the insane asylum, but you have asked Dr. Kunz to check her out and to see if there's anything that can be done. And she actually suggests that it would be best if she was removed from where she is now and put into a kind of communal living with people who have mental problems. It's more like and there will be therapy, but it's also kind of like a living farm where they do husbandry and weaving and that kind of thing, and it's integrated in the community. It's an old mansion kind of thing, and you have said that this would be a good idea, so she's trying to check out when there will be space, and you are going to look after the payment once this is happening. But at the moment you have one thing that you want to do, because you got the message from the Mother of Sighs and the Mother of Shadows, who rescued you, that you have to destroy all of the paintings. You destroyed the big one, the ball.
Yeah.
That's been destroyed. You burnt it on a beach somewhere in New Jersey.
In Jersey. Mm-hmm.
And now you have these two remaining, or these two of which you know that they exist. Let's just hope that there aren't any more. And you are now standing in this warehouse. It's empty, and you have decided to just throw large quantities of turpentine against the wall.
Yep, and then afterwards use a big brush and scrub.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and we will start definitely with the picture where the yellow king is in. Mm-hmm. So okay. That would be priority one, to do that one first.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're doing this, and you hear the now famous voice of the king. And it reverberates through the warehouse, and you can hear it's kind of next to you, because it's you, then there's Dottie, and you can hear the voice from kind of beyond Dottie. So whoever is speaking seems to be standing right next to her, although you can't see anyone. And it's like, but Dorothy, what are you doing? You know that I love you. There's only you for me. Dottie keeps ignoring the voice. Are you doing anything?
I would start a song, something that Dottie would know as well. So, and she would be like, let's sing something together, just to keep us focused on the music, and see if it's easier then to get rid of his voice. Okay.
For all power rolls going forward, you in this scene you have advantage.
Okay.
So does Dottie, by the way. And then he says, but Alice, there is room for you at our court. I mean, why? You could lead my army. I'm looking for a commander-in-chief. You could be the supreme general, or you could be the lady in waiting to Dorothy. I would never tear the two of you apart. You would come with us. You would be prospering at my court.
Alice would not even let him finish. She would just laugh out loud, and then she would go back. And it's not a happy laugh, it's a mocking laugh. And then she would go back into singing. And I'm still with you, I just need a pen that writes.
No problem. And then you hear, and as you are saying this, of course, the two of you are scrubbing away the two paintings. Slowly, but you are making progress, and you are having an effect. And then you hear the voice again, but this time it sounds a little less enticing, maybe, and it's like, it says, Dorothy, remember that one time you asked your God, you prayed so hard for the one thing that you'd really, truly want, the one thing, and you never got it? Well, here's news for you. You will never get it. Never, ever will you get it. And Dorothy shouts, I know that I won't. And then a lot more quiet so that only you can hear it. She says, I know that I won't. And you can see that there are tears streaming from her eyes, but she's not sobbing. And she just puts her elbow into it and she keeps brushing the turpentine even more vigorously onto the wall and trying to get rid of the painting. What do you do?
I think in that part, Alice would just put her hand for just a second on Dottie's shoulder, just giving it a slight squeeze. And then scrubby, scrub, scrub.
Mm-hmm. Not if I can. Ooh, very nice. He rolled a 14. You're making great progress on this.
Good.
And now you can make a listen roll, please. You don't get advantage on that one. Until it's done. Oh, okay, she hears nothing.
Quite sure. That's a normal success.
Mm-hmm. It seems to have started to rain. You can hear the rain outside because, you know, it's like a huge metal door that is at the front of the warehouse and you can hear the rain pounding against it. And you keep scrubbing.
Yep. And singing.
Oh, another 12. So 14, 12, you're doing great. And it is coming off. And now you can hear the voice and it's getting really angry and it says, you puny humans. You really think that you can beat me? You really think that I will let her go? I'm going to kill you, Alice Baker, and if it's the last thing that I will ever do while I'm on this plane of existence, and I'm going to take her with me, and there is nothing you can do against this. What do you do? Oh, 06. Oh, I'm rolling so well.
I think Alice would just like give a short laugh and would be like, you know that you have to stand in line, right? You're not the first one. You have to go through others first. And we are not scared of you. Find someone else to bug.
Power check with advantage, please.
Let's see. That is normal success.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. You hear the voice again, but now it sounds a lot fainter, somehow subdued, quiet, still with a lot of anger. How dare you? But it's getting quieter. It's like it's excuse me. It's almost like whoever is talking is receding from you and is moving away from you. And as you keep scrubbing, yes?
I think Alice would just put in between that you just messed with the wrong people and the wrong city. What was your idea to do this in New York City? The one and only New York City. Where we've seen so much stuff.
Yes, he doesn't seem to have an opinion on this. Okay.
So more turpentine and scrubby, scrub, scrub.
At this stage, I suppose you were concentrating on the image of him rather than, you know, to get rid of his likeness first.
First his and then the bride next to him.
Yeah. So his likeness is now completely gone. And you keep scrubbing, but now you can hear something else. Beyond the rain and through the rain, you can hear a gushing and a rushing of water.
Okay.
And you keep scrubbing?
Yep. I think in between Alice would also dump some turpentine on the second painting, that at least it can start working in without scrubbing, just that it can.
At that moment, as you're doing this, and you keep scrubbing, you suddenly realize that first of all, it's getting really cold. Do you turn around and look? Because there's wind coming from the entrance.
I think yes. She would still scrub, because she can still scrub, but she would peek over shoulder in the direction of the door.
You look towards the door and you notice that it's opening inward. And you see, because you have light with you, you brought flashlights.
Yeah.
And the light is being reflected from the surface of the floor, because there is water coming in. And the door is open wider and wider, and you can now give me a spot hidden.
That is a normal success.
You see that your breath is now turning into really kind of like it's frosting over. And then with a sudden slamming noise, the doors fly open and a kind of like tsunami-like wave crests from the Hudson, because obviously you are on the Hudson. It seems like the Atlantic is coming to visit, is cresting into the warehouse, and the water is rising fast. Now, the warehouse itself is very tall from the outside. This room that you're in, well, it's like a huge warehouse. It's not a room even, is about 6 to 7 meters tall. There's a kind of like a balcony that runs at around 5 meters. And above that, again, is then the ceiling for the first floor, as it were. So basically there are metal stairs on all three sides, except for where the door is, and they lead up to this kind of gallery thing, which is also like a catwalk, really. And then there are also other ladders from there up into the first floor, through kind of like openings in the ceiling above. What do you do?
I think first of all, Alice would call out, "Thank you for the help. Water makes it easier to get rid of the paintings." And then she would grab Dottie's one hand and would be like ready to swim. And she would scrub as long as possible, let's say.
Okay. Now it's the water is entering and rushing into the room really, really fast, and it's now reached you, and it's ice cold. I mean, we're talking March. This is the Atlantic. It's freezing. And it's rising fast. Do you keep scrubbing, or do you keep running, or what? Or do you start to run, or what do you do?
Alice would keep on scrubbing. I'm not sure if Dottie would stay with her.
On a 36, Dottie is fine. She keeps her cool, and she keeps scrubbing. Oh, actually, she gets an advantage. Maybe. Oh no, 36. That's a good roll, but she doesn't crit. Okay, so you keep working on this. Okay, the water keeps rising.
We will try to at least stay around the painting as long as we can before the water sweeps us up, and try to scrub as best as we can. And I think that Alice would make sure that either she or Dottie, whoever is on the right side, would start scrubbing on the other painting while one is still working on the bride. And like focus on the faces is basically, I think, the main idea. Focus to try get rid of the faces.
Okay.
Because the water should help.
You're doing well. Okay. Yeah, the water is helping, but it's also hindering because
But
you
it's
now
hindering
really
us,
need to fight to stay upright. So now I want you to give
Yeah.
me a strength check. On a 48, that is still within her limits, so she has a normal success.
Let me see. Strength. Ooh, that is a hard success.
Okay, you're standing fast.
I rolled a 23. Alice is stubborn.
Who's surprised? And so basically, you keep scrubbing. The water has now risen to over your knees, and it keeps coming.
I think Alice would really... I think in between she would tell Dottie at least what she has in mind. She will wait until the water is that high that they are really moved upwards with it. She will try to scrub as long as possible.
Okay.
In hopes that his power dissolves when we get this destroyed.
The water keeps rising, so it's now up to your hips. You didn't make any progress. You rolled a 99 in this round.
Good.
Please make a strength check.
That is a
11.
normal success.
She's fine. She crits.
Yeah, for me at least is a normal success.
You begin. So at the moment you are still holding on, but you're faltering a little bit this round. But Dottie just grabs onto you and she steadies you. So let's see how you're doing with the scrubbing. 43. This round again, you're not making any progress. The water is rising. Now you can make a constitution check because it's getting really cold. 07. Dottie is fine.
Can I spend luck for these rolls as well?
No.
Okay, then I failed. Barely, but I failed.
Okay, you drop your sponge into the dark water because your fingers have frozen. You can still move them, but it's like, you know, how they get stiff and stuff. So basically,
I think Alice would then try to move closer to the painting, and she will just use what part of the jacket she has, and she would just try to still go on scrubbing.
Okay.
Nice.
You're lucky there. The water keeps rising, but at the moment nothing happens. You keep 68. It's no 89 actually. Oh god. It's cursed. It doesn't seem to be coming off anymore. What do you do? And you're ruining your coat, by the way.
Yeah, that is the. We have nothing else on us that would help.
Make a luck check. I mean, you have stuff on you because you usually bring your Swiss Army knife. You usually bring. I mean, do you
how high is the water at the moment?
It's now getting to above your waist.
No, then the gun would not be helping because the bullet would splinter off and maybe hit us if it goes bad.
You mean shooting the painting?
Yeah,
and
like
off,
shooting the brick. Yeah, but when we're that close, that's total insanity.
Make another strength check, please. 81, 87. Oh dear, Dottie fails.
I rolled a 9.
Okay, that is probably a critical success, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You managed to steady her, but she also has now dropped her sponge. She couldn't hold on. She basically foundered a little bit, and then she dropped the sponge as well. What do? The water is also terribly filthy, and it stinks. And you can see rats swimming in.
I think, at least in thoughts, Alice would go back to our 2 wonderful deities that supported us so far. And she would be like, a little help would be good. just focusing on them and probably trying to look through her pockets, although I really can't think of a thing that would help in the current situation. So Alice would at least still jacket and would try to go on with scrubbing.
Okay, so what's happening now is as well, you can tell that now, I mean, also the water is not only filthy, but it also contains like diesel oil, probably from the ships. So it is quite problematic actually. But let's see, 49. The water is also having an effect on the mural. It's beginning to kind of wash it off.
Well, we at least started to make it easier for the water to get in.
So, do you want to stay? Do you want to keep scrubbing with your hands, or do you want to?
How close would be the next set of stairs? Or ladder, whatever goes upstairs?
You could get there, maybe 10 meters, but it's going to be, I mean, it's almost like, it would be easier if you swam, to be honest, because, you know, you have to move against the current and the water is now very high, and walking in high water is difficult, especially when the water is moving, as you know. So swimming would probably be easier than walking.
I think then Alice would just give a last little darn, and then she would grab Dottie's. Or I'm quite sure they're holding on to each other anyhow. But we need to get out of this. Let the water do the rest of the work. Let him destroy his own special something. And then she would try to pull Dottie towards the next ladder or stairs to the next floor.
Give me a swim roll. Dottie again succeeds at a 10. She has a hard success.
Alice is basically drowning with an 89.
Oh dear. Let's see. On a 19, that's way beyond. That's way below Dottie's luck. She grabs you.
Okay. Then Alice, worst case, will try to walk and fight. At least it's not deep enough that you can really.
No, I mean it's not like you would.
Up.
You can still stand up, but it's tough. But Dottie is actually swimming, and you kind of go under, but she catches onto you and drags you out, as it were. Okay, let's see. One more roll. 26. She's gonna spend 6 luck and make this a success as well. So she manages to get there. Make another swim roll, please.
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
That's a critical failure. That is a 1 with 2 zeros behind
that. Oh,
that.
really?
So
okay, so
definitely I'm drinking some of the water and probably feeling very nauseous. I don't know what else happens. That's up to you.
You actually go under. So Dottie dives back in.
I'm so sorry, Dottie.
On a 72, she doesn't actually manage to stay afloat for the first time, so she actually also goes under, but that's still not a problem. It's not a critical failure. On a 12, she dives, and she finds you, and she holds on to you. Make a strength check. She does as well. 0-1.
19, which is a hard success.
And she has a 0-1. She impales it. She. This must be still she was angry when he said, "Oh, you're never gonna get what you really wanted." So she's still angry, and this is the righteous anger that burns in the fallen Catholic's heart. And she grabs you under both arms, and she pulls you physically out of the water. Onto the staircase. It's not a ladder. It's actually a staircase, so you can walk up it.
Yeah.
And
probably
it's fairly wide as well, because people
Yeah.
might actually be carrying stuff. And she the two of you arrive. You get up on the stair, because of course also now the water is giving you buoyancy, so you are easier to manage, to handle, because you're floating. And the two of you can now climb or walk up the staircase to the next level, which is at about 5
While
meters
we
above.
walk up, Alice would call out, "You know that you are destroying your own paintings now, right? You are ending yourself here." Just calling out, seeing if it pushes the right button or not.
You hear nothing. You arrive at the upstairs on the catwalk. Dottie, 79. Con check. I think that's probably a failure. Yeah, 50. That's a failure. She is pretty exhausted. Please make a con save. A con
My
check
con
for me,
save is a hard success.
Okay. Yeah, she doesn't. This was quite.
Well, she had to get me out as well, but I think Alice would try to steady Dottie and just.
She basically collapses on the staircase or on the landing, really on the catwalk, and just basically falls back. And she's like, "I just hope that the water stops rising."
Yes, but we should not count on it and have a look around before it's too late. So Alice would have a look up and down. Is there any way to go higher?
Yeah,
or is
there are more stairs that lead into, if you like, the ceiling. So they're basically cut out stairs that you can take and then get to the second level. We would call it second. We would call it first floor.
Okay.
And but when you look down, you see that about half on a vertical line of the on a horizontal line, about half of the painting is already submerged. So what remained of the painting is now half submerged already. So the water is still rising, and you can also see that it's coming in waves, and another one is cresting in, and another one is cresting in, and more water is pushing in than can flow out again. So it's really rising rapidly. But I mean, at the moment you're 5 meters up, so it's still about 2 meters below you. You could possibly, you would easily get to the second floor, to the first floor if you wanted to.
I think Alice would give Dottie just a moment to breathe, but then pull her back up, and that we at least move towards the next staircase that we can run up if we need to.
It's also, again, this metal staircase thing.
Yeah, but having a close eye on the painting.
At some point, if you go up the staircase, you will lose sight of the painting. There is no way you can keep seeing it.
Okay. Then we will stay down as long as we can. The question is how high the water will really rise, because there's just so much, at least physics-wise, that can be pushed. We will see how strong he still is.
At some point, the whole painting is completely submerged. You can't see it any longer. The water keeps rising.
I think Alice would be curious also on the level that we are to left and the right. Are there, since this is a warehouse, there should be windows and pulley systems to get also stuff up and down.
There are pulley systems and there are also windows. But one thing that I forgot to mention, obviously, there were windows downstairs. They have all cracked by now. So you heard the splintering of the glass. So it's a little bit like the... in the Titanic movie when this glass dome splinters. So you've been hearing this because they're huge windows. So
which also means some of the water will stream out right and left.
Oh, actually, it's streaming in. So it's getting more waves to come in.
Does it then come from all sides, or does it come only from
the
Hudson
side? It's just coming from the Hudson side at the moment.
So on the other sides, it should break and flood out technically, if it's following physical.
Yeah, well, it would be if there were windows, but the windows are actually all to the front, which is the Hudson. Yeah, the rest
Okay.
is actually closed off. Possibly also to make it easier to secure, because if you have windows in the back alleys, it's easier to break in. But if you only have the front where any
Yeah.
access is possible, it's easier to patrol.
That is true. You probably still would have some kind of back door or something like that.
Maybe
Alone
there
from
is, maybe there isn't.
Well, now it's submerged in water, so we will never know, because also during that time I highly suspect some kind of security, like you should have a back door for worst case fleeing scenarios if needed. But Alice would have a look at
And there are pulleys.
the pulleys would be interesting, because they would be on either their level or the level above, and Alice would like to look out where one of the pulley systems is, just to see.
You can see at least 2 of them. And you can see the big hooks.
So Alice is like thinking about what if we use that to make our way out. But although the main question is the pulley system inside the building or is it outside? Just to make sure, because my idea was thinking about like we have it here at the harbor as well, that the pulley systems are outside, so you lift from outside and bring it in. Or is the pulley system inside just to get it to the
This is what, okay, to my mind, there would be 2 systems. There would be one that you use mainly for internal, but then there has to be at least one way to get outside and then carry it back in. Now, I don't know how they would work, but it's more like, I would imagine that there is kind of like this hook thing that's basically hanging from above, and you have the pulley system that lowers the hook and raises the hook, but also then the hook is on kind of like wheels and can move back and forth, and then it can leave the warehouse through the gate, so that it's basically, and there would be kind of like a crane outside that then that the hook can run along, so that it's then basically outside. In my opinion, it would even need to reach possibly over the Hudson if there are ships there that tries to get into.
Okay. Because as I said, Alice is a little bit if that is a way out for us. Although if the water is outside, I think mainly Alice
Do you want to look outside, because you haven't really
Alice
looked? Okay.
Alice would definitely look outside, or even open a window on our floor just to really peek outside.
You look
and
to
have
the
a
front. You look to the front, and you see that it's not localized flooding. The whole harbor, the whole wharf is flooded. The Atlantic has come to visit everyone.
Okay.
However, somehow the Atlantic finds your wharf, your building more attractive than the other ones. So you would say maybe there's even some tentacles coming in, like tendrils. So the water seems to be having a mind of its own. One could say it's maybe supernatural.
Alice is definitely cursing, at least internally, and he's not hearing. If he's still listening, he is getting a lot of bad names from Alice. But, so the water is also then around, it's also going then around the building.
Yeah. You can make another con check, please, because you are freezing. It's cold, you are soaked. You went
it's
under.
Totally fine. I rolled a 2. I have a critical success. I am full focused on what do we do next. I don't care about myself.
Let's see how Dottie's doing.
Come on, girl.
78. That's a failure. She is turning blue and she's chattering and she's freezing.
Jump up and down, Dottie. Move, move, move. Come on, come on.
Okay. Make a persuade check.
With a 13, it's a hard success.
Okay, so she starts jumping up and down and she's trying to re-warm her limbs.
Alice will also very carefully, because Alice will do it herself, she will get rid at least of some of her clothing. because it's wet and cold. So the more you get off, the better it is. So Alice would carefully also suggest that to Dottie. Dottie needs to decide if she's willing to or not.
Your reasoning is perfectly sane in her opinion. She starts undressing. She starts taking off her coat and, you know.
Coat, at least those things.
Yeah.
And looking down, the water's still rising.
The water is still rising, but you can make a spot hidden for me, please.
That's a normal success.
Okay, make another one.
That is a critical success because I rolled a 6.
Okay, so you passed 2 sessions or 2 rounds in a row, one of which was even a critical success. It is rising, but it's not rising as quickly anymore.
Okay.
And when you look outside, you also notice that it's no longer tendrily.
Then we just keep moving. I think important for Alice as well as Dottie is not to stand still, but keep moving, keep the body in motion, and keeping an eye on the water level. So if it's getting dangerously near us, then we need to flee to the next level. And hope the water will not rise up far.
So you keep this up for about another 10 minutes or so, but then you notice that the water has stopped rising. And when you look outside, you also notice that it's no longer raining, because the rain would also have at least contributed a little bit to your predicament. And another 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, you notice that the water is definitely receding, and quickly receding.
Alice would have a look around on this level because it's still dry up here and there's no water here. Do we see any kind of, even if they are probably very grubby and dirty, blankets or something
Make a
like
luck
that?
check. No.
Far away from my luck value.
Let's see how Dottie does. 59. Nope, you are unlucky.
So, yeah, keep moving is then the idea.
Make a con check. Dottie passes.
I fail.
Okay. Well, this is, I mean, yeah, you're trying to keep yourselves warm, yes, and it is kind of working, but this is also exhausting. Your body is now beginning to feel exhausted.
And my constitution is not the best, as we know, so...
Yeah, so basically at some point you just basically feel you need to sit down. Do you sit down, or do you force yourself to not sit down?
I will try to force myself.
Make another con check, please.
That is at least a success with a 44.
Dottie's doing very well. She rolled a 14. And you're gone. So she rolled a 14, so she is doing really well with her con check. You also passed. The water is now actually, as quickly as it was flowing in, it's now as quickly flowing out. And another 10 minutes later, you see that the wall has been washed clean. There is no trace of the painting. If you wait another 30 minutes, you believe that you can actually walk down and leave the building. And stay reasonably safe.
Yeah, we will try to hop back and forth just to keep our body
Okay, so
running.
time passes, you can go downstairs. Do you want to leave the building?
I think Alice would make one stop directly in front of the wall where the paintings were, just to really make sure nothing is there. No signs, nothing like scraped in or so.
Make a spot hidden.
Normal success.
You can see nothing.
think she would kick the wall, not to hurt herself, but like a little stubborn, like stupid thing.
Okay.
Then throw her wet clothing over her shoulder, and we'll walk outside with Dottie.
You walk outside. The place looks like nothing ever happened.
I think Alice would just stand there for a little, just have a look around left and right. Are people just normally...
There isn't anyone there. It's the wharf. It's the middle of the night. You are pretty much on your own.
Okay. We came here with a cab, right? And we told him to wait?
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at Dottie, should we see if the cab is still there?
I hope so. And she's chattering, and she's shivering, and she's cold, and she's miserable.
Yeah,
She looks like a
Alice
wet
as
rat.
well. Yeah, I think we have 2 wet rats here. So we stumble more or less towards where the cab should be.
The cab is there.
Okay.
He's reading a paper. The cabbie's reading a paper.
I think when we get closer, Alice would just whistle through her teeth, just like, and just that he gets notion of.
He looks up and he sees the state you're in. He's like, Madam, did you fall into the Hudson? What happened? Oh, that stench.
I will give you an extra tip so you can clean up afterwards. Could you please bring us back home?
Sure. Do sit down. And he drives, and he's maybe driving a little more quickly than is allowed.
Fine.
And he takes you safely home, and you pay him, you give him an extra tip, and you go inside. You unlock the door. Maeve comes running towards you. She basically puts on the brakes. She's like, she sniffs you, and she goes back. She doesn't hiss, but she looks at you. Maybe she's contemplating. Oh, you do smell a little bit like fish. Maybe you are edible. And then Teresa comes, because Teresa obviously was sitting up or something, and she's like, Madam, what happened? I'm not sure if this can be cleaned.
Well, first of all, could you let in some bath water, please?
Yes, of course I will.
Thank you.
She's starting. I've no idea how they managed to get the bath water hot. I suppose she had a boiler somewhere, because I don't know if you have indoor plumbing that brings. Yeah, you would have had hot water upstairs, wouldn't you? Possibly somehow this must have worked.
Honestly, that's an interesting question. During that time, how far were they with hot water?
Because definitely they could boil water, but the question is, I doubt that they would have made it on the stove and carried upwards. That's upstairs. That would have been too old-fashioned. I mean, it's the 1930s after all. So I'll say that it's going to take a while for the water to heat. It will take a while,
yeah.
But at least you can change. You can get like towels and dry yourselves off, and put on something that's warm, A, and B, not wet. Yeah.
Yeah. I think just cozy bathrobes, some socks, and just like waiting for.
And while she's waiting for the water to heat up, Teresa is making hot chocolate, and she gives you hot chocolate and biscuits and sweet stuff, and
I think we will just, Alice at least will just enjoy the hot chocolate and be just like sitting there, and her being annoyed with higher powers is on an up level.
It's really, you really don't like them, except for Ulfar, who is kind of cool, but
yeah, the other two are kind of okayish as well, now that they kind of helped, but no, they helped, not kind of, they really helped, but Alice is like, in her thoughts, she's like, how stupid is he? The water was the last thing that finished the painting off.
Dottie's looking at kind of like at her coffee at her cup of hot chocolate, and she's like, in 2 days' time I'm starting university.
Yes.
I hope that I will get the stench out of my hair. Because the two of you stink to high heaven. It's terrible.
Yep.
And then basically, at long last, at what seems to be forever, Teresa lets you know that the bath is ready. So basically, you go first.
Yeah, and we take turn and we have to switch water, I think.
Yeah, you do. You do. In this case, yes.
And Dottie will get also the offer, because I'm quite sure Alice, like shampoo and so on, is with more perfume and things, I suspect. So Dottie has free shot if she wants to try anything of that
She will.
to maybe help.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so 2 hours later, the two of you are scrubbed, cleaned. The skin, you scrubbed so hard, you exfoliated,
Yep.
but you feel clean.
Clean.
And Dottie says, well, they do say cleanliness is next to godliness, don't they?
Well, we for sure kicked a godlike thing's butt today.
I would say that we're really in his bad books now. I think
was
the
in
next
his
time he
bad
comes
books
around,
from
he
day
will
one.
probably not try to marry me. He will try to do something else.
The only thing I know, when morning starts, I want to call at the asylum just to see how she's doing. If anything happened tonight, I would be curious.
Yes. And then Dottie's like, forgive me, but I really need to go to sleep. I'm tired. Maybe tomorrow have breakfast not before 10 or something. Or she looks at her watch. Today.
Honestly, we will just sleep in. And if not, grab breakfast outside.
Good idea.
Yeah. So I think this is also the first night where both are sleeping in their own bed in peace and quiet. Hopefully so.
You at least don't dream of anything that you recall. And the next morning at some point you just wake up. There is no sound. There is only light streaming in, so it must be at least 9.
Yeah.
You look at your watch and or clock on the bedside table. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's quiet. The door is open. And you hear just a couple of kitchen noises. Obviously, Teresa still needs to go about her chores because there's stuff
that's
that needs doing. But it's quiet otherwise. There is nobody talking, so possibly Dottie is still asleep as well.
I think Alice will just stretch, brush teeth, get a little bit, just throwing over morning robe. I think she would then go downstairs in the kitchen just to see.
As you leave your room and you get ready to take the stairs downstairs, you notice that there's a little cat head that's sticking out between the kind of like the wooden planks and the banister upstairs, and basically looking down at you, and then
Alice will
withdraws.
just wave and give a smile, and then she would go
Withdraws,
downstairs.
and then you hear the trampling of the horde as she is running after you, coming downstairs from the second floor, meeting you at the first floor landing. And then the two of you walk downstairs to the first floor.
Yes.
Do you go to the kitchen?
Yeah, going to the kitchen.
Teresa is there and she's like, oh, madam, good morning. Would you like me to make breakfast for a change?
That would be really lovely if you wouldn't mind. I will do the coffee. You can do
the rest.
Marvelous breakfast.
What
Whatever
about pancakes?
fancies you. Pancake sounds lovely. A little bit of bacon. We deserve bacon.
Of course. And some maple syrup.
Yes.
And butter.
Definitely, yes. I think before Alice would go to coffee, she would make a little snack for our dear Maeve. That the cat is happy, most important. And let's see how the coffee... Oh, I rolled a 3 on coffee
Oh,
making.
super. You make mocha. You make the best mocha ever. Tick it.
It's already ticked.
Good. So basically, then the breakfast is ready, and then Teresa says, shall I go and get Miss Dottie?
Let her sleep in.
But what about the breakfast?
That's true. Maeve, dear, do you want to wake up your mom?
Maeve looks at you and then she hightails it out of there. You hear the horde trampling upstairs.
Tap, 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 tap.
And then the second floor. And then after a while you hear, oh, Maeve, good morning. What time? Oh my God. And then you hear noises upstairs and then the horde trampling down again. And Maeve kind of like going, I did well. She's coming. What about my tuna?
Yeah, Maeve will get a little something.
And then,
maybe a tiny corner of the bacon. I think during that time they were not aware that that's not the best for the cat. So a little bit of the bacon for the cat.
And then this is followed by Ms. Williams, who is also joining you. And she says, where's my bacon? And she smiles at you.
On the table, you serve yourself. And then Alice would pour in coffee. And she would also ask Teresa if she wants to join, obviously.
Oh, Teresa is joining if you ask her. You don't really kind of like, I think at this
like
stage she's established that for her it would be second breakfast, but
second breakfast, brunch kind of, but
yeah. And so the three of you have second or first breakfast depending on who you are. And
I think Alice would, after the first coffee, even if we're still mid-breakfast, even though it's not good behavior, she would get up and she would call the asylum.
Sister Mary Clarence answers the phone.
Sister Mary Clarence, oh God, what
Maria.
was the name? Maria. I was just curious, is my niece doing well?
Your niece, Caselda, yes, why?
I was just curious. I had a weird nightmare, and I was just, when you just have a weird feeling, I just wanted to make sure.
Of course, when we have a weird feeling, it's God that's trying to communicate with us.
But it's good to hear.
Maybe you should go to confession.
That's definitely on the list. Also, as heads up, in the next, we will probably pick up my niece. We found a nice place for her to stay outside, in more outside the city. I think that might be very good for her health. Our smoggy air is not the best.
Of course. I mean, whatever you decide. After all, she is your niece. No, but I can vouch for it. She had a very good night's sleep. I'm just looking at the ledger now. Nothing was recorded.
Good. Thank you very much. Then have a nice rest of the day.
God bless.
You too. Coffee has not sunken in completely. Okay.
You just blessed a nun. You the atheist.
And then she will grab the newspaper and also sit down again with the rest to have the rest of the breakfast, but snoop through the newspaper.
They don't report anything weird happening at the Hudson. It seems to have just been you guys that witnessed this. There's also no information that maybe anything has been devastated or anything. And they didn't even mention the hard rain that you felt.
Well, generally it's a good thing. It would have been much worse. I'm sorry. If it would have been what we've seen, because then, holy cannoli, there would have been a lot to do in the docks.
And then, basically, after a very extended breakfast, because Dottie is really taking her time and she's eating a lot, but then again, she basically, she was physically exhausted, as were you. You're also quite hungry, but I'll leave it up to you. But Dottie is really eating a lot. Then she says, so I should go over the list of things that I need to bring tomorrow one more time and pack my bag just so that I'm ready. I'm really excited.
It will be great fun and a lot of work, but great fun.
I'm a hard worker.
I'm not doubting that. I highly suspect you will be better in the end than I do, but we will see.
Well, this is not a competition, Alice.
That is what you say.
She looks at you.
A little competition will not hurt.
Challenge accepted.
Alice will give her the hand. 1 week of making breakfast.
Okay, you're on. And we will measure this by the marks that we get on our essays.
Yes.
Okay.
Alice is not well prepared for the first day. She definitely will not have everything there what she needs.
Dottie has been doing her due diligence. She knows what copybooks to bring, how many pens, what the basic readers are that she should get for herself. She has everything. She's even taken the time of wrapping the books so that the covers don't get scuff marks. And she's got a really nice bag, which she must have gotten herself, where she puts everything in. And then at night or in the evening, she puts it beside the front door, ready to go the next morning.
I think, well, Alice will definitely have a nice notebook with some pens, different colors, but I don't think she really took too much care about books and anything else that needs to be there. For her, it's more like a fun exercise, I think, at the moment. Let's see how it goes, but she will stumble over, oh, I don't have that.
Okay, so basically...
Can I lend that for an hour, thank you?
So basically then, at around 7 o'clock in the evening, make a psychology check with advantage, please.
Psychology. That is, let's see. That is a critical success.
Okay.
I rolled a 7.
You take one look at Dottie and you notice she wants to say something, but she doesn't know how.
I think Alice would just plonk herself next to Dottie, uncomfortably close to Dottie. Just lean in like, what are you not telling me?
I need your help.
Okay.
I'm going to university tomorrow.
Yes.
I have picked out 3 different outfits. I don't know which one.
Show me.
She runs upstairs and she's gone for about 15 minutes. Then she comes back wearing something entirely different than she had been wearing all day. This is number 1.
I like, but let's see. Number 2.
She goes outside again, downstairs toilet, changes, comes back. This is number 2.
Also nice option.
And then she goes out again and she puts on number 3. Now she is a conservative dresser at the best of times. However, you don't know what she's going for, but it's either grey mouse, grayer mouse, or greyest mouse. Mm-hmm. If she wears this, she will probably be mistaken for a potted plant that has withered.
I think we can do better, dear. And she would go upstairs with Dottie and would go through her closet just to find some clothing. Quite sure pants, because Dottie has pants. I know that.
Yes.
And maybe like a nice blouse and I think on top she would either, if Dottie has like a scarf, like a lighter one.
Yeah, you gave her a beautiful one.
I think that would be like, I think that might be a good, put it on, let's see.
But if I wear pants, everybody will be looking at me.
We're going to university, dear. 80% will wear pants there.
Yeah, but that's because they're men.
No, also women.
Yeah, but in all fairness, wearing trousers is
I know.
very.
But she will stretch still and have Dottie to go there, and meanwhile also then have a look if there's an option to combine that with a nice skirt that is not just grey.
She does have other colors as well. And she says, but the blouse. I mean, you picked a really lovely one that's also not grey or white, it's
Hmm.
colorful, but everybody will be looking at me.
No. Well, yes, because you look beautiful in that. It's not about
People,
hiding. Okay, we let's make a compromise. You will keep the blouse, but we will go to, and she will hand out this skirt. It's a
she
bit
put,
more toned down, less da.
she looks at the skirt, she puts it on, it fits perfectly, and she was like, yeah, but I thought, I mean, like, I could stay at the back and just be really quiet.
But then you will miss everything because the people in front of you will have talking, and we both will plonk ourselves more in the front rows. If you want to listen to something happening in uni, you need to be more in the front.
But then people will see me.
Yes,
I'm there to learn, not to draw attention to myself.
it's not drawing attention. You are there to learn, and the professors will know you are there to learn and not to have a party, which is happening in the back.
She rolled a 100 on her pouch. She's like, um, how about you go, you take really good notes, and I study at home?
We go together. We will sit in this third row and we will listen and we will be interested because we are there because we want to be there, not because our parents sent us there.
You can see that she is very
You
disconcerted.
you
She is
never
terribly
tried
nervous.
it. You never tried it before, so let's give it a try and see how it works out. You're not alone, dear. And we will meet a lot of lovely people there. You know that university is also about meeting new people and
I actually don't
extending
want
your
to meet
circle.
anyone because that's going to be like, I'm going to be so embarrassed
Why?
because they have all gone to school for much longer than I have. And
You
you know
are
this.
smart as heck, and there are a lot of people there that are not getting close to what you already can. We will meet people there that we will never want to see again or kick their butts, and we will meet a lot of lovely people there as well, which is fun to hang out with or discuss things that we heard in whatever we was told or in what we read. It's nice to have people to discuss about what you read in books or what you heard about, to just discuss theories and ideas.
You can tell, I mean, she rolled a 100. That was a
Yeah,
critical failure. She was very hyped and she was very much looking forward to this, but now she's a bundle of nerves.
I will make you a hot chocolate now, just to calm you a little bit, and you really don't have to worry.
I can do this.
Yes, and if you don't like the third row and the next one, you can sit more back. It's not that you are frozen in this seat and you are not allowed to move from it.
Deal.
Deal.
So you make hot chocolate?
Yeah, we make hot chocolate with a little bit of cream as well, and we'll hand it out to her.
Okay. Yeah, and then the two of you have a lovely rest of the evening, and then at some point, she says, "Oh, I really need to go to bed now because I do want to be fresh tomorrow."
Yeah.
And she goes to bed. Teresa knows, of course, that it's a big day tomorrow, and so she said to you, "I will make breakfast so that you also can get ready in time. You don't have to worry about it. Just this once, I've told Dottie that I will make the breakfast, and she's agreed."
Perfect. Thank you, dear. And Alice will make her last round as usual, to see if everything is closed properly.
Maeve is patrolling with you.
And then she will go to bed as well.
And you go to bed. You go to sleep. The next morning, your alarm rings. And you wake up. 7:30.
Stretching, getting ready, wearing something not too out there, not to stress Dottie even more.
Are you wearing trousers?
Yes.
You're wearing trousers. Okay. So Dottie
Quite
is wearing a dress, a skirt and the blouse, and you're wearing trousers. So you have breakfast. And then it's time to go. How are you going to get to university? Are you going to catch a bus? So public transport, or are you going to take a taxi?
I think we would take a taxi, but would be dropped off like block around the corner and just then walk the last bit.
So you arrive and it's bustling. There are plenty of people arriving. Your first lecture doesn't start until 10, but at 9 o'clock you just have to register. So there are different desks, and it really depends on your last name. So B and so A and B are in one desk. She's William, so she's W, so she's somewhere completely different. So the two of you get separated. You arrive at the desk. There is a clerk sitting there, and she's looking at you, and she says, "Name, please."
Alice Baker.
And she looks, Baker, Alice. Yes, I've got you here. Sure, yeah. You have everything that you have on your reading list, and you have your timetable?
Yes.
Good. Then please check the timetable. Your first lesson will start at 10, and it will also give you the room number.
Thank you very much. I think the timetable Alice would have, because she wants to know where she needs to be when. I'm sure she have passed the reading list, but we will see.
Are you looking to find Dottie?
Yes.
Dottie, let's see. I mean, it's not so difficult to identify yourself as Dorothy Williams. On a 03, she is fine.
Good.
You see her standing there with her bag. You can make a spot hidden.
Let's see. 22. Hard success.
Okay, you see at least 3 men who are checking her out.
I will recognize that with a grin and then walk over to her.
And she says, "Well, I think that went well. I mean, she wanted to know, did I have the reading list, and I took it out and I showed it to her. She's like, well, I don't really need to see it. It's just that you need to have it. And our first lesson starts at 10, and basically we have to go up there, and then it's the big room at the far end."
That is more information that I could get. That's good to know. Then let's...
Well, she didn't tell me. It was that nice gentleman over there. Richard.
I think... Should we slowly head in that direction?
Sure.
Cool.
You head in that direction.
We head in that direction.
You take one step upstairs.
I will be mean and go mute for a second.
Sure.
I will be right back.
No problem. So you take you go upstairs, and then basically you follow, and then you can see signage already. So it's A1 to 10, A11 to 20, and so on and so forth. And you're in A3. So you go to A3. It's a fairly large room. It's not an auditorium that's like, the ones that go down like amphitheaters, but it's kind of like a seminar room, so it's flat. And people are sitting kind of like, they have chairs with those turny over table thingies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like in like a crescent shape set up, so you can and Dottie looks around and she says, "Yeah, I think sitting at the front is better, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to see, because obviously she isn't that tall, and if everybody's sitting in front of her, she will probably not see anything." So she takes a deep breath. And then she starts
the learning and getting the best view.
Walking towards the front of the room. She looks around, and then blushes terribly and sits down and basically is trying to hide behind her Greek primer.
Alice just follows her without blushing and will just plonk herself next to Dottie. And will pull out her notebook and pen and just put it on the table.
And then the room is beginning to fill. It's about 15 people because this is Ancient Greek 101. It's probably not one of the most interesting or widely used or widely attended classes. Then the professor comes in and, well, you start learning Greek and you start with the alphabet. And it goes on for 45 minutes. Dottie is spellbound. She is listening, she is taking notes. She cannot be distracted. She is focused on this person and on every single word that this person is saying. And after 45 minutes, she feels quite exhausted. So she says to you, that was intense.
Alice, it was not that intense because Alice drifted between listening but also scanning the people around. She has also quite entertained to see what kind of people are with us here, because there will be a mix of people that want to learn Greek and a lot of them that are forced to and are not really interested.
I mean, the point is I would imagine that back then you didn't have the jocks. So this whole idea of rugby players or football players getting those
rich people where Daddy
so people
says
who
you
are
have
basically
to.
doing a general arts degree may not want to do Greek but have to. So you have, but mostly people are paying attention. You notice that there is maybe one or two.
That's good.
But the rest are listening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as intensely and maybe not as, I mean, for Dottie, probably this is also this, she wants to get this right.
Yeah.
She wants to succeed. And not because she's competing with you, but because she is, you know.
I think that's how Dottie is. She's just really focused on this now and she really wants this, so...
And then basically another lesson, and then there's lunch. There's a lunch break. There's a cafeteria. There are 2 more lessons in the afternoon, and you get home by 3 o'clock, 3:30. And Dottie is beat. She is oh so tired.
I think Alice is also a bit tired, but not as much as Dottie, because she much more learns when to pull out a little and then focus back again. So,
And Dottie says, I'm going to take a 30-minute nap and then I'm going to do my homework. What about dinner? I didn't even think of this. What should I cook?
You don't need... We will go out for dinner. Don't worry.
What? Then at least can I ask you to at least make a plan for the next 4 days of what I should be cooking, that I don't have to think about it, but just get into the kitchen? That would really help, Alice.
We will, first of all, you take a nap. This evening we will go out for dinner because we celebrate our first day at uni, and then we make a plan, because there's the careful idea of maybe at least in the first 1 or 2 weeks until everything settles, if Teresa might take over cooking for us, at least for 2 weeks. I don't think she would mind, and it would give you more breathing air and time to settle.
On a 66, her power is 85. The idea does not destroy her self-esteem. Well, I suppose. I mean, she is a maid and she knows how to cook. It said so on her resume, so why not? But this is not going to be the rule.
No, it's just for
and at the weekends, at least, I'm going to do this. Yeah, all right.
Everything is really new, and it gives us also the chance to see how, she will not cook as good as you, but it will feed us. Her breakfast is quite good, so I think we will do okay.
And Dottie actually goes upstairs, and then you hear her walk downstairs again because she left her briefcase. She takes the briefcase, she puts it against her chest, like this is like her beloved, and she goes upstairs again. And for the next 2.5 hours, you don't see her.
2.5 hours. I think
Well, I mean,
after
she said she was going to do homework. Are you gonna go do homework?
I think at least a few. The rest will be for the evening. I think Alice is a typical last-minute homework work person. So after dinner, when we're back, I think she would sit down and do a few more things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at around 7, Dottie descends.
By now, I would have made reservations
Okay.
at one of the restaurants that we visit from time to time.
Okay, so you go out for dinner. The dinner is good.
Mm-hmm.
You come home, and Dottie just basically plonks down in the salon on the chaise longue. She's joined by Maeve, and she yawns. And she says, I didn't realize it was going to be so tiring.
Well, it's a lot of information to be processed in a very short time frame.
Or maybe I'm too stupid. Because you don't look like you're as tired as I am.
Well, I'm quite sure that you listened at least to everything the professor said, instead of me watching the people around us, how they behave.
How did they behave?
Are.
Was there something out of the ordinary?
No, but I was curious who really wanted to be there and who didn't really. And I'm always interested in how people act. So also for me, it might be we're just different kind of learners, I think. I just pass by.
How does that work?
Well, you just listen to the most important things and do the most important things of homework, and then you just...
But how can you know what's most important if you've never done it before?
Gut feeling and a bit of luck. We will see, but you get used to this and settle on this. I'm quite sure it will just take a few days. And I now need to plunk myself and do some homework because I am definitely not finished.
She smiles, but she does look tired. And do you do the homework in the salon at the little writing desk, or do you go upstairs?
I will do it upstairs. I would first chew her up, like, come on, go to bed. You look like you could just fall asleep here and hit the floor. So I will do the security rounds and then go up to my study and have sit at my desk and do homework until whatever long it takes, and then go to bed.
Maeve looks in on you, and then she basically indicates quite clearly that she's going to stay with Dottie tonight to see that she's getting enough sleep. And then she basically, it's almost like she waves you goodnight, and then you hear her tippy-toe upstairs. And then at some point you also finish your homework.
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed.
Yep.
You go to sleep.
Yep.
And so it does take at least 2 weeks for Dottie to find a routine. For her, this is really stressful. She's surrounded by people all day. People start talking to her. Not only to her, they talk to you as well. But first of all, she's a lot closer to them in age than you are, because there is 10 years between you, and she's already 27. No, actually, there isn't 10 years between you. There's 5 years between you. But at 33 at this stage, or turning 33 this year, you are a lot older than the average student. She's 27, so she's still older than them, but not as
much.
I mean,
and honestly, Dottie is a very nice and approachable person.
She would not
even
agree,
though she
but probably people think so. Yes.
Yep.
And for her, this is a form of exposure that is really difficult for her. But also the sheer mental she's not stupid, and she reads a lot, and she's very well read for somebody with her background, but it was always like reading in her own time for the topics that she was at the moment interested in the most. But now she has to focus on things that, yes, in general are part of the degree, which is why she is in general interested, but it's different if you know that, you may be asked to do a pop quiz the next week and somebody wants to know the irregular verb forms of whatever, So this is a different, and she's also never really been to school. She never learned a foreign language. So it's, for her, this is tough. And she is also tired at the weekend as well. And she goes to bed early, and she is, but it's getting better. Good. And it's really a matter of finding a routine. And she's beginning to establish this. For you, it's easier. But for you, it's also, again, now you again have somebody else giving you a timetable and saying you have to be there at such and such a point in time, and you have to do at least some. And I haven't been
learning like that in a while, so it's really. And for Alice, she has a few topics where she's really concentrating and really enjoys it, and others where she's just passing by, just like seeing where she puts the energy in, and a few things is like, if this is like an average, it's fine as well.
So the question is, this is your first term, the two of you. Are you going to try and find work, or are you going to concentrate on your studies?
I think for the first 4 weeks, no work, and afterwards she would look out, but for easier cases, so nothing really big. She would look like, cat ran off, or bracelet is missing, or smaller things.
Okay. What's your luck?
29.
Okay, at 98. No one's cat ran off, and nobody's missing a bracelet, or if they are, they're not talking to you about it.
So no work at the moment.
No work at the moment. What about your social life?
Oh, Alice, at least at the weekends. I think during the week she will slow it down, but at the weekend she will be out in the evening with her friends.
Okay, good. Anyone in particular?
I think the usual people she would hang out here and there. Whoever is there and available. Also checking.
What about mom and dad? Are you going to check in with your parents?
No.
Okay, why am I even asking these questions?
Why should I? Christmas is around the corner.
No, it's March. It's now Christmas is around the corner. It's the end of April.
Well, probably birthdays come in first, but no, Alice would not.
No, birthdays are coming first. So it's now, I would say, mid-May. So the first essay is due. Make a roll against your education by half.
I don't like this game.
Why?
Why by half?
Because you're learning something new.
Then I failed miserably.
What did you roll?
A 64.
Okay, and what is your education?
18.
Okay, she rolled a 60. She also failed because her education is 58. So she's way less close to it than you are to your half, because your half would be 40 and her half is 29. So basically, having said this, that's a difference of 31. And in your case, you rolled what?
64, so it's 24 difference.
Okay, so yes, you did better. Neither of you did brilliantly. You didn't get an A, but you did slightly better.
Okay.
Let's see how she deals with that. Not with you being better, but with the fact that, this is her first academic achievement and it wasn't good. She didn't fail. 78. She is devastated.
I will take her out for drinks.
That's a good idea. Get her drunk. You can
some I don't know, something like happy music and something, I don't know, like a nice jazz club. Just enjoying the evening, just thinking about something else in university.
Yeah. She does say, she says to you, I know what you're doing, and I appreciate it, but what if I am just not cut out for this?
It's the first one.
So?
You will have others where you be a brilliant, one perfect A, and others that are not going that well. That's normal. You can't... Well, if you wanna only live for university and nothing else, there might be a chance to get a total A, but is that really the goal? The goal is to learn and focus on the things that you're really interested in.
I do want a degree. I'm not doing this for fun, just.
Yeah, but you didn't fail the test. You made it. That's the most important thing. Over all the things we have to hand out in the end, it doesn't matter if a few are
But I
passed.
worked so hard, and if this is as good as it gets when I work this hard, what if I would have to work even harder? And I honestly don't know how.
No, you just need to steadily work on it, like it is with everything else you learn. You practice, practice, and practice. And then you get better and better, and it gets easier and easier and easier. And if you feel like there's anything where you are missing out, we can see if we can find someone who can give us a little bit extra boost out of university.
Private tuition?
Yes.
I'll think about it.
Give it at least a little bit more time. This was also the first time that you had to write a thing like that, and all the excitement around that, and next time will be easier.
Make a persuade check.
Nope.
You can tell that she's not buying it, but maybe it's because she's also not drinking enough. And basically
I think Alice was also not very persuaded, because she's also like... Although she definitely would never think that Dottie is not smart enough to do that. She's quite sure if Dottie wants something, she will be able to do something. And just manage it, so...
And then basically time passes. We will do more. We will write 2 more papers. Make an education by half. 90.
Am I allowed to spend luck?
No.
The first one I barely missed. It's a 42, but it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one is even better, and a success with a 38.
Okay, so she rolled a 90. That is a fail, so she did get an F. However, this the third one. She rolled a 12.
Yes.
If it had been an 11, it would have been a critical success. So she got an A- on this one.
That is still really good.
It's very good. That is super. And she is chuffed. She really is. And basically then the term is drawing to a close. And then the next one, then it's like the winter term that starts. But then there's also an extended period of time between the summer and the winter term. Mm-hmm. And it's summer. And summer in New York is warm or even hot. Yep. And it is also quite dry. So there isn't much rain, so people are really enjoying this in a way, because it means you can go out for extended periods of time. But at some point the city does get oppressive. Do you want to do anything during the summer holidays?
I don't think so. Well, I think Alice would be in communication with Pamela.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pamela has returned from Egypt.
Okay.
Or so France, rather, because she was, yeah.
Yeah. I think Alice is like, vacation will be problems and cases and drama, and Alice is kind of like, just we would just stay at home. We can still do a day at the beach if we want to. I
And
think she
you still
really
have the
doesn't want to travel.
1001 gardens in New York, hidden gardens in New York. So you
See,
still
we
have
still
that
have
book.
gardens.
Well, you only looked at a couple of them, maybe 10 or so in total. So you still have places where you can go. Okay, so you're going to stay in the city and basically maybe take a day trip or two.
Yeah.
Then at some point you get a phone call. It's Pamela. Alice, darling, how are things? Well, listen. I know that you're all busy with, like getting really book smart and stuff, but I was wondering, this Christmas season, would you like to join me? In Montreal. We could go skiing, and Dottie, we could maybe teach Dottie, or she could just go to the ice rink. We could go together. We enjoyed it the last time in France. What does that sound like to you?
It sounds lovely to me. Let's. I will ask what Dottie says to that.
All right, then. I will pencil you in. It would be 3 weeks in Montreal. My pad is big enough for the three of us and then some. But it will only be the three of us. I don't really feel like, I don't know. I've been to so many parties, and I can tell you, society is just a drag.
I'm quite happy to at least have a little bit of break on a few lines on that. But we need to, well, if she's in New York, need to meet up for dinner soon.
Yeah. That's not a problem, and I assume that you would also have, been socializing.
Yeah.
So do you ask Dottie?
Yes, for sure.
Actually, I would love that, because I'm not going to go to church anyway this Christmas. And yeah, and I've never been to Canada.
Then let's give this a go. I will tell Pamela to not pencil us in, but ink us in her calendar.
You hear the throaty laugh of Pamela Baxter Strauss as you say this, and she says, I'm going to ink you into my diary then.
Perfect,
and she inks you into the diary, presumably, and the second term starts, and then, you write a couple more papers, and it's going, let's see. That's my girl, a 16. She is doing well. There are topics that she's better at, but then there are topics that she's not as good at, but she doesn't fail. So, but I mean, I suppose this is normal, because there are always things that you prefer to other things, and, and she's now also kind of getting used to the fact that you cannot probably exceed or excel at everything. And passing the ones that are maybe not as interesting to you is enough for your degree. But you have to find those specializations that you really want to specialize in, and then try to excel there. So she's navigating this kind of like academia, as it were. But it has taken a long time for her to also accept that she has to prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
And so winter comes, you get on a train, you go up to Montreal. Do you want to go for Christmas, or are you going to have your own Christmas tree first and then go on the, 26th?
I think we would be fine going for Christmas if Dottie is fine with it.
Yeah, Dottie has no...
She would,
not interested,
so Alice would drop gifts earlier for her parents, obviously. And make sure some cards are written and so on, but she would be fine to be out in Montreal for Christmas.
So the two of you go to Montreal. Dottie actually brings a couple of books for her studies, and copybooks and pens and stuff, because she says, well, I do want to kind of do a couple of things, and sometimes, the two of you just get talking, and then I prefer to be on my own. And so she brings some work with her. And is Montreal it's on the Atlantic, isn't it? Or is it landlocked?
Well, there is it a river or a bucht? It's not directly at the coast, for sure.
And it is surrounded by ski resorts, actually. So, no,
So
actually, it is not
it
on the
is
sea.
no, it's a long river in the middle. So you can come from the sea by boat. That works through
Oh
Quebec.
yeah, but it's okay. That's
But
like
it's
yeah,
quite a bit of a ride, yeah.
yeah. So and you can, and there are even snow parks here, so you can ski within almost the city limits. So it's
Yeah.
at least today's city limits. So you have a great Christmas there. There will be a tree. So I suppose in a way Pamela Baxter Strauss is a little bit of a traditionalist. So there is a tree, there are lights, there is nice dinner. She doesn't cook herself, but she will not let Dottie cook either. So she
Mm-hmm.
has her servants that are going to prepare Christmas dinner. And then she also gives you gifts. So for you, it's another crate of excellent wine from her husband's vineyard, ex-husband's vineyard, should I say. This time it's ice wine, so the sweet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for Dottie, she has a it's one of those leather satchels that you can put diaries into. And she says, well, you can use it as a planner, or you can use it as a journal. And it's beautifully made, and it's got a monogram DW on it, and a really nice pen, fountain pen, to go with it. And Dottie is charmed.
I can imagine that. I will have to think about what on earth Alice would give as a gift. Either
Dottie would probably have been obsessing about what to give Pamela, because obviously, you know, she's a guest as well. So she would have selected a really beautiful card, and possibly she would have gone down the road of something that's practical. And she would have tried to find out what kind of brand of cigarettes she smokes, what kind of tobacco she uses, and then would have gotten her something like that, because obviously there are different types of and qualities back then, because I think today everything tastes pretty much the same in terms of cigarettes, but back then I think there would have been different, maybe even in terms of price and quality, and she would have gotten her a very special gift of cigarettes, possibly
I think
in a nice box.
Alice would have given Pamela like a piece of art, either a painting or a sculpture. I have no idea what would be for Dottie. To be honest, at the moment I'm quite out of ideas what Alice would. I'll think about it. We can put that in next episode. At the moment, I would have no idea what special thing Alice would find for Dottie.
I think Dottie is actually she would have bought you a book, a very nice edition of a book that she knows you like.
Yeah.
You know, one of those bibliophile ones, or maybe an antiquarian old edition of something. And it would have been a small one, so a small gift, because I think that the two of you wouldn't be exchanging necessarily expensive gifts, but more small ones that are super meaningful, rather than just, or maybe, you know, I suppose you would probably also have, that's what she would have given you. She wouldn't have given you clothes.
No, I don't think clothing would be the right thing.
Ja, hallo Mäuslein.
I'm also just waiting for someone to peek in and say goodnight, but no. They're not.
Say hi to her from me.
I will do that.
And and basically, Ivy has decided that it's now time to sleep on what used to be our couch. Which is no longer ours, it's hers now.
Well, Everything in your apartment is hers.
Don't tell her that. And then, yeah, and so...
Give me a second.
Sure.
You can stop recording or whatever.
Yeah, and then basically the year ends. You have a really lovely time. So the weather is good. You can go skiing. It is comparatively mild, so it's skiing is possible. There is some precipitation and there is some snow, but it's by no means as snowy as it might have been. 2 years ago she was telling you that she and Matthew were snowed in for several days, and so that's not the case. It's no problem getting around the city. And then New Year's, and it is 1933. Another year has passed. You're turning 35 this year. Dottie's going to be 29. You have survived another year of Cthulian horrors.
Which is quite surprising. Also, what we skipped in between, clearly Alice would have taken a ride with Casilda to the Boston thingy, make sure she was settled there properly.
Yeah, and I would also assume that you would have every so often taken a weekend and gone there and checked in on her.
Yeah. And also, I think Alice would at least curiously have her nose in what will happen with the store.
The store technically is still Mr. Noortalber's store.
The question: did they ever find out?
I was just going to wonder. They never found his body. Did they?
No, they found They found a body. They found two. Well, they found a woman.
Yeah.
That was probably the wife of
Craig, Albus Craig. No, they did find the body, didn't they? They found it in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So basically, he's dead. So she inherits everything. So the shop belongs to Casilda.
I think then Alice would have tried, depending on the state of Casilda, and if it's even a good idea that she knows about her father's death.
Do you want to talk to Dr. Kunz about this?
Yeah, it would be the question if it's good or not, because the question is if there is a way that Casilda can
own the shop.
Own the shop, but the boy would be running it and could get his proper loan out of it, and he could even use the apartment above if he wants to. We would just need to pack the things of the family.
So you talk to you make an appointment with Dr. Kunz?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's dead. That's a shame.
The question is, should we tell her or not?
Well, I believe the truth is always better. It's just a question of how to put the truth to someone. I would say yes, she needs to know, but how we are going to tell her needs to be decided. However, you were mentioning an inheritance?
Yes.
For this to happen, I have to certify that she is not insane. Because otherwise she cannot inherit.
Which is difficult in her current state.
Well, you said that it's a shop and a building.
It's a building,
business.
Yes, it's a shop with a flat on top. And
so are you going to dismantle the building or the shop? Are you going to close down the business, or what is the plan?
The idea is the boy that was working for her father is still there running the shop because he feels like it's his duty.
How old is he?
Do I even know? I think by now Alice would have at least found out how old he is.
He's not even of age yet.
So he's doing a perfect job of running the thing, and he would be a good successor in regards to the business. He could run it in the name of Casilda.
Well, technically, in order for this to work, she needs someone to own it on her behalf until she comes of age, provided that she is not certified insane. I am happy to certify that she is not insane, but needs care. Because she is not of age and she has lost both mother and father and is a little bit in a fragile position mentally. Not insane, but she needs care. You would have to find somebody who can run the business that Sam then technically runs on the ground, but who is able to take decisions and sign papers. They would need to be of age.
Give me a day to check who would be the best.
Of course, I will put the paper in order to certify that she is ready and able to inherit until such time as she comes of age. Somebody would have to be nominated to run the business on her behalf. All businesses. On her behalf. Good. You can pick up the paperwork tomorrow, 11 o'clock, shall we say?
Perfect, I will do so.
Of course.
And when I leave and I'm back home, I would call William.
William, okay. Yeah, well...
That's my dear little artist, right? No.
Yeah, the one who doesn't have a spark in his eye for you, who loves you but doesn't love you. That's William.
Right.
Who do you want to call?
No, it's William.
Okay.
Just going through names. That's
William
the
Perkins.
boy. Exactly.
That's the boy who won third prize.
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
Totally chuffed. Yeah.
I was like, and I would make him the offer if he wants to step in, because for him it would be a cheap way how he can get to paint and material on material cost base.
Well, I mean, I suppose.
You can, if you want, we can visit the store and you can get an impression of.
No, I trust you. I mean, we could go there anyway, but it's more like. So this is just until she is able to take over and she's old enough, correct?
Yes, although I'm honestly not sure if she will ever really be able to take over.
So then basically the proceeds of the business will be reinvested in the business so that she can sustain herself out of the business?
Yes, but what we would clarify that you get your share as well. If you put work in, you get something out of it.
Of course. But I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it to help her.
That is very lovely of you. And as I said, I think for you it's a good option to get your hands on first-class paint to basically just production costs.
All right. So the two of you meet.
Yeah. And I think Alice also, within her circle of friends, she would have, well, she has a lawyer that is not available, but maybe have someone else who would be able to set up
Your father definitely has a lawyer.
A proper paper for all that it's organized. So because she wants to make sure in case Casilda is healed that she really can come back if she wants to.
Your family retains a notary. Your family retains at least one lawyer, so you can go to them. They draw up the relevant paperwork, and then basically it is set up in such a way that all the ownership is with Casilda, as she is the sole inheritor. Until such time as she is of age and health permitting, William Perkins is going to run the business on her behalf, but has to declare all of the paperwork once a year to the lawyer, who's going to basically be as a trustee, act as a trustee to ensure that, well, William wouldn't, but that nobody's actually taking the money away from her. Sam will be running the actual shop as opposed to the business, so he will be the guy doing the ordering and the selling and the buying and stuff. And you also make sure that as long as he works there, or until such time as Casilda wants to return, he can have the flat above. But if Casilda returns to New York and she needs a place to live, he has to leave.
Yeah.
And now for the first time, he's probably even gonna get paid, and it's all great and stuff. And he is chuffed. And then you have this arrangement in place. And Dr. Kuhn certifies that Casilda is of sound mind and body, but has had some traumatic events in the recent past, and this is why she needs to be taken care of. But and so that's all fine. The notary, your notary, also stamps all of this, and so you have this arrangement in place.
Because that would be something to finalize in 1932 before the New Year, that everything is settled.
Yeah, so basically you do have enough time, and we are talking about this. So you're basically tying up these loose ends. And Casilda, when you go to meet her, she looks different. She's, of course, now spending a lot of time outdoors. So she's no longer pale. She has filled out. So she's now looking a lot healthier in body. Mm-hmm. And you would say even in mind, she does remember you. And Dottie goes with you as well, and she doesn't even mention anything about the King in Yellow or how she should be married to him instead of Dottie. She still wears a cross, and she has a rosary with her. And when you talk to the doctors, they do tell you that she prays a lot, 3 times a day, and she does study the Bible, but she doesn't seem to have this religious this idea that the world is ending and that God is talking to her and stuff. So that's no longer the case. And I mean, there are religious people all over the world, so it's not unusual, considering also that she's Italian, so her father was born in Italy probably still, and she's taken up painting. So she's taking up watercolor. She likes to paint still lifes, so especially like flowers and stuff. And you would say she looks, and she seems to be content.
That's good to see and good to feel. I think Alice would also, just thinking about it, in the contract, everything that is like bonus money, I think Alice would make that this would pay also her stay in the facility in Boston or outside of Boston.
What do you mean bonus money? Sorry.
So basically whatever they earn with the shop, a part will go to the boy, to Sam running it. A little bit will go to William. The rest goes to Casilda, and that money is used for paying the facility where she's in. Yeah. At least partly. I think Alice would stand in case there is not enough money. She would fill up the gap. But I think Alice would see that if there's enough money, that Casilda can pay for her own healing, basically.
Okay, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah. Also, thinking about Alice has money, but she needs to see where she's putting it, because she can't be paying for everyone, because it will not be that cheap, and she will see at least that Casilda pays part of it as best as she can.
Casilda is not exactly poor. Okay. The shop makes good money.
Good money, good.
And also Dr. Kunz was telling you that it's a little bit paying for itself, because they spend they spend a lot of time on husbandry. They sell wool, they sell all kinds of things. So that should work out. yeah, it that works out, and
Awesome.
basically she can easily pay for her own treatment.
Good.
And so
Start
time
in a new year.
you start in a new year, and you go to university, you keep learning, keep studying. It becomes April, becomes March. It becomes March, it becomes April. And more, it becomes clear that this year seems to be quite exceptional in a way, because 1933 is very dry. It's very warm. And as of April, in the so-called Panhandle, you or the people there experience drought, dust, and devastation. There are dust storms that drive across what is known as the Southwest Dust Bowl. People are displaced, people need to leave, livestock is killed. You see this all over the place, it's in the newspapers, and it is becoming quite clear that America is experiencing a serious drought. You also notice it in the big cities. It's not just confined to the southern parts of the United States. Canada is affected, Europe is affected. The rivers are not drying up as badly as they are sometime today in 2023, but it's getting worse and worse. Some of the reservoirs do not have enough water anymore. There is water shortages, and crops are beginning to fail. So in some areas, crops would have been, especially in the southern hemisphere, they would have already had they would have had their harvest, and that didn't go well. And yeah, it's beginning to become difficult for those countries which are still or already poor, that they cannot feed the people who live there. And we're going to leave it there.
Then let's see how it will be being the upper class in New York City.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little Cthulhu-esque King in Yellow bit.
I enjoyed it a lot. I hope the viewers had fun.
You won. You managed to destroy utmost chaos.
Well,
Or send him back.
At least part of it he did himself, thankfully so.
He is chaotic. We get to level up though, which means we can check everything that we have checked, so to speak, and then increase. And you also get a sanity back. Please roll 2d10.
An 8 and a 9.
So you get back 17 sanity. Let's see how Dottie does. She rolls a 7 and a 7, so she gets back 14 sanity.
That looks much nicer.
So she's at so she gets back to max because she can only have 54. That's what she's capped at. And now for each of these sessions, so we had 6, you get 1d10 luck back. So 6 times a d10. So that's 13, that's 37, then 24, 8, okay, 15.
6 sessions, you said?
Yeah, no, that's actually 6. Okay, so she gets another 6, yes. So she's now at 51.
I'm at 62 because I rolled heavily high. I like
Okay,
high
that's
luck.
good.
I will spend it quickly, as I always do. Okay, so let's see in all our skills as well.
She's not doing well. She has not been able to increase any of them except maybe, let's see, spot hidden.
So
Also
wait,
not...
when I roll over,
Yeah,
no, when
that's when you roll
when I roll over, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added D10, was it right?
Mm-hmm. So she increases her swim to 23.
I increase my cooking and breakfasting and coffee making by 8.
Very good.
So it's now at 55. That's nice.
Oh, wow.
Let's see how the other things go. That is a good roll. That is another 6, so the skies go up to 44.
Excellent.
And what did I just press? Did I shrink my screen? What else do I have? Well, we already said, can we really change dodge? Because it's half dex. Doesn't make sense to make that one better, does it?
No, it doesn't unless you increase your dexterity.
Dex, no. Then.
But I think you did some combat, didn't you? You definitely did some combat.
We used dodge only for the combat, but
yeah, but you also
firearms.
did. Yeah, firearms.
Yeah, that was firearms. So no,
yeah.
that I'm not, because I rolled too badly. Oh, my Latin can get a little bit better by 7.
Did you use Latin?
Yep.
Oh yes, of course you were reading books. Yeah.
On 13, Victoria. Math is hard. Education, library use. Let's see. Nope. Listen. Nope. Locksmith. Close, but no. Persuasion. Nope. Psychology. Nope. Spot hidden. Big nope. That was a natural 1. And oh, I can add stealth. Yes.
Good.
Well, 2. Yay.
Well, but still.
At least 2 more on stealth. Let's see. Stealth is then on 46. And all the other stats are that high. Nope. No changes there. Persuasion, psychology, swim, I failed miserably. So that's it. Let's save it. And at least here and there a little bit better.
Yes.
My coffee making is at 43 now.
That's impressive. Well, yeah, you see, Übung macht den
No,
Meister.
I'm lying. Coffee is at 55 now. Wrong stat.
The funny thing is you're better at her than she is because she's got a 52.
Oh,
Yeah, because she usually...
But I'm specialized only on coffee and breakfast. I can't do much else, but that I can do quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, so... then we will see what happens when all the rivers run dry.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! After all the water, at least now we have the opposite.
Yeah.
Not enough water.
No. Okay, then we would like to thank you all for listening, for watching. Thanks to all of our patrons, and thanks for all of those people who actually are patrons for the English-speaking content only. I know that you're not getting as much, but at least the stuff that we do give you is entertaining to you. So have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.